Well. Welcome to today's live. We have the seventh episode of Quantum Talks, Bridging Words with Worlds, with me, Annie Andersson, and Norina Bramke. And today we're going to talk a little bit more about what the hell has been happening with the energies lately. We have had solar flares, we have had massive quantum shifts for the collective. I think we're all in a calibration splurge trying to remain human. So we're going to dive deeper into it. I know Norina has prepared a few questions for me today, but the floor is open. And if anybody has any question they want to throw at us, you're so welcome to do that during the live. Otherwise, the replay will be available. And if you're not able to watch the full live now, please subscribe, like, comment, save it for later, send it to a friend. We are ecstatic to be here again with you another week.
And we're in a very ecstatic time. I spoke to so many people. Everybody just feels the energy. People can't sleep, and then they feel extremely tired. Lots of physical symptoms. One of the people who watches space weather. I'm just following what the sun is doing and solar flares and solar storms, and that is affecting us because we are energetic beings. And as you know, the earth has an energetic field that is protecting us a lot from all the things that are floating around in space and are and that are hitting earth. So earth has a protective layer, and so do we. We have an energetic field. So we are so very much affected by it. And I think we've been feeling it. So, Annie, what did you feel in the last days and even weeks?
Wow, like it's been so much lately. It's even hard to remember the whole storyline. But just like yesterday, let's start there because it's so fresh. I woke up. I know a lot of people has been dreaming like crazy these past nights. We're talking super, super vivid dreams. And if you have watched our other episodes, we're not just like dreaming vivid dreams. We are dream walking. We are visiting other dimensions, different timelines, and so on and so on, which is amazing. It's so cool that we actually can do that. But like yesterday, for me personally, I had a huge issue getting out of the dreamlands. I tried and I tried, and it just like kept on like pulling me back into these other realities, literally, to the part where like I'm calling for my partner and be like, hey, come, because I know when I have another person, like they can literally like drag me back into reality. Sometimes we need that. So I'm very happy for that assistance yesterday, seriously. But still, after like coming back to awakened state and this is our reality, I felt like my entire being, the physical aspect of me, has been blown into million like molecule level, like atoms. Like I was sharing a post on Instagram, if anyone saw that, just like really quick thing where I was literally just describing what I was feeling. I was like, I feel it on an atom level, I feel on molecule level, like I don't even know. And I literally felt like, if this is my body, I'm like blown to pieces in pure expansion, and in the awakened moment to be like boom, coming back again, like the Big Bang Theory, first like and then boom, back, and trying to put all that pieces back together when they don't really want to, like not completely, like 98%, but 98% is like not really great still. Like there's 2% of complete confusion for the mind, for the consciousness that we work from on earth. And to be like, okay, we are human, back to the physical body, how do we do this? how do we function in this world when we know we are like materia walking right now? I was walking to the club, the gym club, and I was like, okay, let's keep it together. Like, we can do this. We are a human being. We are, the body's walking. So here we go. But I literally had a super, super foggy dizziness, like kind of still dream state feeling about who I am and what I'm doing and this reality. And then you send me this really accurate video, just like literally the guy is explaining exactly like on the words in a science-based way. Like, I'm not a scientist, I can just describe what I'm feeling. And of course, worth mentioning, it was the 1111 portal as well. So of course, nothing is coincidence. Nothing is coincidence. But please take the floor. Just like, can you explain who's this guy and what were you sending me?
Yeah, so I'll give you the name. His name is Stefan Burns, and he is updating every day something about the space weather. He's a scientist, so he's having a solid scientific background for people who need that. But I need it. Anyways, so he's posting really long videos on YouTube every day about space weather and what's happening. And I learned a lot. I learned even how space weather is impacting or influencing earthquakes on Earth. And what we know about earthquakes, it's still very limited. Many years ago, I met someone who did his PhD in earthquake science. And he told me that we don't have any measurements to know when earthquakes are happening. Like, the best method is what Chinese have, and that's 30% correct.
Oh, that's really low. I'd say.
So there are so many aspects we are unaware of. And so it's very interesting for me to see how the sun and the space weather is influencing Earth, even from the inside out. Doesn't it? It kind of makes a lot of sense. It's the same with us. But yeah. And of course, all these particles, they go through matter. We are not that much matter. Earth is not that much matter. There's so much more empty space than matter. So yeah.
If you want to, people are going to have a hard time wrapping around that fact, but yes.
Yeah. But I think if you remember, I think we all learned that in school, that we have these electrons, and there's so much empty space between those. I think my physicist teacher in school said it's like you have a soccer field, and then an electron is the size of a pea. Something like this. So that gives you an example of like how much empty space there is.
Literally. And I think, it's so interesting because so many people have a hard time relating always. Like, we want to have things explained, and I think that's a really good trait, actually. Like, the more information we can to bind together what we are feeling, especially like me, who works so much intuitively, and people have been like, don't knowing if they're gonna believe me or not for like so many years. And I love it when science catch up with that and be like, okay, here we have it. Okay, we can explain it to you. So, and then you can choose if you want to believe it or not. But the science, actually, we have gotten to that place today where the science do back up the things that we are experiencing, and I love that. But yes,
and I think there are studies as well that show every time the solar activity was very, very high, that there was more violence on Earth. Our emotions are more volatile, let's say that. So you can see that in historic data as well. And on another level, if the solar storm is blasting and it's hitting Earth, like, it is affecting our technology. So a solid solar storm can affect our satellites and knock them out. Like, there's there's that fear. I think last year the fear was very strong because the sun was so active the first half of the year, X-rated solar flares all the time.
I remember it. Oof.
Yeah, that there would be like a big blackout, like that we wouldn't have internet at all, like it would wipe it out completely. So last year that was more in the public discussion that could happen. What I've heard in this video was that like somewhere in the Caribbean Sea, that an island had like no electricity or something, like the technology was affected by the solar flare. I do think it depends how solid your infrastructure is when it comes to these things, how easily things can be wiped out. And of course, a small island country might be more fragile in that
Yeah.
regard. Um, and something else I wanted to say, like you said, you feel like 98% your particles are back in order, but what about the other 2%? They're confusion or chaos. And that's also where the potential is. You know, like
Please
in chaos,
enlighten me.
anything is possible. Like it is the unknown. It's the field where anything is possible. Nothing is predictable anymore. And it's up to us, of course, to see it in a positive way, or yeah, hopefully positive. Let's
Yeah.
let's stick to
And
this
to be
one.
fair, I was quite generous with the 98%, but that's because my perception of what 2 missing% can mean has completely shifted from before. So 2%, lacking 2% might be like, it's nothing. No, it's a lot. It's a lot. Where we're talking about molecular levels, that's a lot.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also, what can we expect? Like, have we noticed any changes in us? Like, I noticed for myself that I was consuming different things on YouTube. A few things I was consuming and I was interested in before didn't interest me at all. Too much drama, too much energy I don't enjoy. And I was moving much more into silence and music and audiobooks and learning and expanding my skill set. Um, yeah, very different energy. Did you notice anything in yourself?
Yes, differently though, and I think
Mm,
that this can be very personal, depending on what kind of person that you are, and what kind of levels within you are shifting. Like, what is the focus? Who are you? What are your usual habits? What do you digest? Social media, but also like, what do you eat? All of these things. Like for me personally, with this super high blast of energy, I am not as hungry anymore. I eat very little and I'm completely fine. I'm not hungry. I do need a lot more hydration, which makes sense. But it's only today as well. Like for me, usually, since I am so up in my higher chakras, I have so easily to connect to source, to the fields, to everything. For me, food usually is a grounding tool for me. Like I can eat food to ground. So for people who are like, oh, I want to expand more, I want to eat more raw food and stuff like that works. It literally works. For me, that's like just taking me higher. So I need more dense food in a way. Today, though, like yesterday, I ate very, very small portions of food. And today I was like, oh, I want this raw food. I want this like raw vegetables, like poke bowls, like cauliflowers, this kind of stuff. And I'm like, oh, very interesting, very interesting. So right now, and like hard pass on anything related to sugar, anything that isn't pure, anything that isn't like organic, hard pass on that right now. So
yeah,
with that, it's literally our body is telling us like, hey, we need to align with this frequency right now. Like the others does not play a part in this right now,
mm,
especially not right now. After we have calibrated these new energies, it's definitely possible to go back if we want to what we were eating before. Maybe we want to do some changes because maybe we have experienced something new. Again, personal. And I also had this like hot topic for me that I finally shared yesterday on my Instagram as well, where I'm like, whoa, for months and months now lately, I would say like the past 5 months, more and more, I've just been like, oh, lacking any kind of interest on Instagram. I don't want to post. It feels forced. I don't know what to share. I almost feel like this apathy. And the past weeks, it's been like really coming to a place, because first I'm like, okay, I need to work with my creativity. Like, I have this voice inside of my head, like, Annie, this is like a part of your job. You gotta create, you gotta produce, you gotta be there. And now I'm just like, no, I don't want to. I literally don't want. I don't see it. It's just empty. It's empty. And I'm a creator. Like, I'm an artist in what I'm doing, and always been like a like with aesthetics and all this stuff, like whatever it is, painting, photography. Instagram have always been this amazing platform to, like, showcase your art, literally whatever it might be, or even just getting your voice heard. And I feel like, wow, if I don't even resonate with that, there's something bigger in the mix. And I know you told me like you felt the same, and I started seeing the people, like for a while it was like 82% of my followers felt the same. That's a lot. A lot. And like among those people, many big creators, like creators that are like having a lot of their life on social media, reporting the same thing. That's
Yeah,
worth mentioning.
yeah, like a very good friend of mine who was posting every day because that's where her business is, on Instagram. She's a coach. She is taking a break for the last month and is not online at all.
I'm
And
getting chills.
same.
Wow.
And for her personality, that is very, very unlikely for her just to do that. There is a deep inner shift that you just go completely silent because you don't feel it.
It's
Um,
like it's
mm,
it's like no matter how much you want to, it's just not possible.
that's so interesting because I'm a person like I don't care much about social media. I actually post more in the last 3 months than probably in the last 3 years. And I usually
That's worse than
post
applaud.
I usually post when I get this repeating message in me, gonna talk about this, gonna talk about this, gonna talk about this. And like, okay, it seems like the world, maybe one person out there needs to hear this. And then I share something and then I feel like, okay, that's done. If you ask me 3 months later about it, I forgot what I posted. It feels more like um, um, a channeled message at the time. Yeah. So, but yeah, it is interesting because I'm not in the routine of posting. So I only do it when I actually feel like it, or that can mean I'm not posting for a year. And that's fine. It's not that nothing is happening in my life. It's just I like my privacy. And if you are friends with me, you will get lots of voice notes about the interesting things, but it doesn't need to be on the internet for the whole world to see.
Yeah.
What you also shared before about the food and that you feel a shift in eating different foods, absolutely. It's just about the energy of the food. And that also goes back to Ayurveda, by the way. Very simple. If you feel very ungrounded, well, you need more things that grow on the ground. If you're up in the air and if you are very lethargic, then you need more things with air element. So things that grow higher up. You understand the logic, everybody?
Yeah, well, I'm with you. We're getting there.
Yeah. Also in my sessions, when clients ask about their diet, and that's a very common question, the higher self is explaining it's not about ethics at all, like what you eat, you should eat or you shouldn't, and that's just a human mind game. It's just about the density of energy and what you need. And depending on your lifestyle, on your body, you know if you need more grounding, if you need a bit more lightness in your body, and therefore you should choose the food accordingly. And often you feel drawn to it if you have a strong intuition. You feel drawn to these foods anyway. But if that's a difficult topic for you because of the conditioning of the society, then like, please always take a moment and tune in. Do I feel grounded? Do I need more air elements?
Yeah.
Do I feel a lot of fire in me, a lot of anger? Then, well, be easy on coffee and spices and stuff like that. Yeah.
And it's not that easy. It's not that easy to be like, if you're drinking coffee for years, like, your dips and so on, but it's like fire. What is fire? But I remember, because in my history, I've always had stomach issues, some problems with digestion, bloating, all these kind of things, IBS. And all the doctors told me was completely shit, to be frank. And what I finally started doing, I remember it so clearly. I walked into the grocery store and I walked around, and I talked to my inner self and be like, okay, Annie, what do you want? Like, what do you really want? And I'm not talking about the cravings, like, so, because first the brain is starting to spit out all this like delicious stuff that is just like cravings, but that's not what you really need. And that's what I told. I was like, okay, thank you, but no, not the cravings. Like, what do I really, really need? And when I asked that, I got the answers clear as day. I was just starting to go walk around the vegetables and be like, okay, they want me to get the carrots. Okay, they want me to get the aubergine. And at that moment, I was like, I don't even know how to cook with these things. Like, how do I make this tasty? But okay, like, I'm going for it. And when I started doing that every time I went to the store, and the bloating got better. I started to release like excess water I'd been holding on to, and this was purely a conversation with my inner self, with the body.
Yeah. Now that you say that, I think a lot of symptoms I felt as well were detox symptoms. While I'm not doing anything to detox, I think that is also a side effect of the energy we are moving through right now.
Yeah.
So if you feel similar, take binders. Like that can be charcoal, that's a very strong one. There are many other binders that help the body to get rid of the toxins. You will feel better. You won't have these detox symptoms.
Oh my gosh, that's great actually for myself too, because I don't know how visible it will be on here on the screen, but and I think this is super interesting. I follow the pain body charts of like energies and stuff, and especially with the face, especially for us women as well, who has more hormones affecting our face if we get blemishes or breakouts or whatever. And right now for me, it's in this area, and that's more like the liver. It's connected to the liver. And I was looking back and I was like, but I haven't eaten that bad, honestly. So I think with the huge impact of the energies coming through,
Mm.
and it's coming out in my face from the liver, it means that stored toxins are being pushed out right now. And I obviously have nothing to say about it. They don't listen to me. It's coming out exactly in my face, fine, you know.
I
But the
think I need
liver
to point
part,
something out, Annie, something very obvious. This is your third eye.
that too, yeah.
You're definitely getting upgrades. Something all needs to be pushed out.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
big time. And also today, I mean, yesterday was a big day, like I said, with like the realities, the molecule levels, like the day passed for me just holding together my molecular body. That was like what I was trying to do. And today, when I was waking up, I was kind of in a rush going to places, and luckily I wasn't driving. I was in the passenger seat, but as so many times before back in Sweden, like when I was driving, having the state, I start to see double. Like the roads goes like this. And that's happened again today, and I'm like, oh, here we go again. Yeah, like when there's these days and they're just like one day after another, there's nothing to do except just accept what we're going through right now, like hydrate, sleep, rest, but like
Mm,
it's gonna be weird stuff happening,
mm.
literally. If anybody who watches this have any symptoms or weird happenings, please let us know that we're not alone. There's so many different things, so many different things. For luckily
Yeah.
for me, I recognize these things, these symptoms, these
Mm,
ascension symptoms, and I know it's okay, but I think that also currently what we know to be true, that a lot of people are waking up again. We have like, I see it almost like, when the animals gives birth to a lot of kids, no, a lot of puppies, like a dog gives a lot of, there's like a new heap, a new group. So this is like a new wave, a new group of awakenings, and they are probably experiencing this for the very first time, and it is nice to hear that's like they're not going crazy. And it's not like if you go to the hospital, they're not gonna have the solution for you.
yeah.
Mm-mm.
They don't know.
They have no idea.
Mm,
And nah, let's not even go into it.
yeah. Yeah, it's just very interesting. Like yesterday, I was meditating 4 times before midday. I love to meditate,
Girl.
but that's on a different level. And I just I bought a lot of audiobooks the other day, and then my cat started to sit on my chest, and I'm like, okay, I will buy a book, an audiobook about animal communication. I felt like she gave me a sign. And I do feel like I can communicate well with her. I know what she wants. She understands me. So I started this book, and I realized it is actually so easy for me because I'm very used to connecting to my higher self, and it is the same process for me. Just my destination is different on my higher self. I call upon the animal and build that connection, and then it just flows in the same way. Um, and that's also interesting, this new idea to learn about something and then tapping right into it and understanding like, oh yeah, of course I can do this. And for everybody who is listening and you have some psychic abilities and maybe you feel super humble about it, that's okay. We all do. um, just try it. Just try if you feel like you can connect to a higher being, your higher self, a spirit guide, an angel, whatever it is. Just try to say like, today I want to connect to a different being. It could be an animal, it could be a completely different being, and see what happens, because there are so many possibilities.
Wow. Actually, you're getting me inspired. We have two dogs here. Maybe I'll have a conversation with them. That would be very interesting to see, especially for me
Mhm.
also having my own I don't know what to call it, but how I assume or think that I want to treat dogs in Sweden compared to another country that might be very different, and it would be nice to hear their opinion on the whole thing. Actually, yeah, maybe I'll
I
try
get
it
this.
out by
Yeah,
myself. Yeah,
yeah,
I'll report
yeah.
back next week to see what
Mhm.
if I manage to get anything and what they say. Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, I was so yesterday I tried it for the first time, and you're a little bit like, I don't know what's gonna happen. And I was surprised I saw everything through cat eyes, like from that perspective. And then later, yeah, um, I tuned into a bird, and I saw everything from above in the trees, like looking down, and yeah.
This is amazing.
Yeah, but in whatever way information comes through is fine. Like it doesn't need to look this way. But yeah, if you have any practice to connect to something bigger than you, that is your inspiration to go wild, to try to connect to other beings. And anything is possible, really.
anything is possible. See, actually,
Mm-hmm.
that is one thing that I just love about you. Doesn't matter. Like, I know you have a lot of private things, like we have a lot of private conversations going on the side of our lives, and she's always the one who is like in the end like, "Yes, yeah, but everything is possible." It's like, mm, right. Oh yeah, right. Everything can work out to my absolute best, even better than I imagined. Like, oh my god,
Mm-hmm.
why didn't I think about that? Such
Yeah.
a dear lady.
Um, Also, when I was meditating so much yesterday, I was, of course, connecting to my guides as well. And I tend to ask the same questions because my human ego mind is still a bit stupid. You know, we get the answer, but it's still like, really? Can it be that easy? I don't believe it. Come on, be harder on me.
Can't be possible.
It's just so funny. But of course, the answers stay the same, and they're endlessly patient explaining it to me. And in the end, it is really like Bashar is saying, you gonna follow your highest excitement without insisting on any result. Like
Mm.
the picture is so much greater than you could ever imagine. And I do know that from my own life in the past, but sometimes the human ego mind, you know, is a bit louder and wants a harder life for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, it's like, oh, but we went through so much. Like, what, life is not a walk in the park. Oh, but it can be. Oh, can it? Like,
Yeah.
mm,
So I would assume that everybody knows Bashar who's listening. Hopefully, if not, please start following. It is really that simple. And I had a conversation with a client a few weeks ago who said, like, he felt Bashar's more like for beginners. And it's like, no, I wouldn't say so. And try to implement just following your highest excitement, because you will meet all your conditionings and your limiting beliefs that tell you you can't do that. You cannot just be happy. You cannot just do this or that. That's the real work, to let go of that part of yourself and to overcome that and first be faced with that. So yeah.
yeah, no, definitely. And that is, it's interesting because, like, for me personally, if I'm allowed
Mhm.
to share, it's like I've had like it's kind of weaved into all of this with social media too. Like, for a
Mhm.
long time, also since I've been traveling, like it's been over 2 years since I left Sweden, and I was like, yeah, I'm working in like online and in different communities, but lately, as well as I've had this resistance to post online, I've had this very strong feelings to be like, I want to make soap and I want to create ceramics and candles. And it's so simple, right? It's so simple. If I'm gonna follow my highest excitement, like, okay, like let's do soaps then. Like, what's wrong with that? If that's my highest excitement, let's make soaps. Yeah. I have no idea what that is gonna bring me, except for joy in the moment and my, again, aesthetic kind of creativity coming out. Um, and to be fair, it's a bit tricky to, like, I don't know, invest in this kind of stuff when you are a traveler and you don't really have like a home base for a long time, and this is not things you're gonna be like traveling with you, bring with you. But it's interesting, right? Because this applies not just to me, like to everyone. And I think in times like this, where we are facing literally right now a huge upgrade, that if we are brave enough to listen to those voices, and even if they are completely different from what you have had in mind for the past year or two or more, listen to that little voice. Like, yeah, the voice of highest excitement. Oh, but I want to do this. Okay, do it, try it. Why not? Do it. This is the time. This is the 9 year, and we are entering soon. Like, the next
Mhm.
year is going to be a 1 year again. We're starting over a whole new 9 year cycle. And right now is actually the end of this year. It's not like, yes, of course we are going to finish, we are going to come full circle with a lot of things, but it's like you can start already now thinking about your new year, your new beginning, like starting to like think in those paths, to be like, what do you want again? Because maybe this is going to be a whole new reinvention for yourself.
Mm.
It also
Yeah.
depends on your personal year and so on, but this is big and this is collective, so this is why I feel completely certain that this is
Mm.
a relevant question to,
Yeah.
marinate. Start already. Yeah, just a few months and then we're done.
Yeah, just less than 2 months.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. That's the last
It's
2% I was
basically
talking
tomorrow.
about.
Yeah, it's, yeah, time is flying, like, personally, I don't celebrate holidays, Christmas, Easter, stuff like that.
You
Just
don't?
it's not part of my reality. Like, I see it, but what can I say? I
Well,
just
I
treat
mean,
it
but
like
it's not
any
because we know you're not religious. You're not. It's not
Mhm,
because of that.
mhm.
No, it's
Some Well, last time we spoke a bit about my past. In my childhood, there was a lot of tension on Christmas. So when I left when I was 15, I just didn't celebrate. I usually cried because I felt sorry for myself that everybody has a loving family but me. So, and then I traveled and I usually flew somewhere on Christmas because flights are cheaper. Mhm, and, my partner also, he doesn't care about decoration and all that stuff, so we're just living like any other day, and we just have some days off and, um, of course, we are aware what's happening around us, but I don't feel that Christmas spirit.
no. I get it. I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's cool. Like everybody does their thing. It just needs to feel like we're not forced to do anything. If there's a thing going on, like if it doesn't resonate, then don't do it. Like me personally, before I left Sweden, I started having my own spiritual alternative Christmases. This was my way of celebrating. So I brought the
Mhm,
tribe together for people who couldn't or wouldn't or didn't want to celebrate normal Christmas, or with their families. It could be single
mhm,
mothers, it could be house cats.
mhm,
Yeah, for anyone, for different
mhm,
reasons, and just bringing together this like vegan buffet style
mhm,
spiritual Christmas. We brought what is it called, like secret Santa gifts to pass on something, and we channeled to
yeah,
which one was gonna go to, and it always was like perfect who received what. So yeah, I have actually, for that reason, like the past, well, not since traveling, but my last Christmases in
mm,
Sweden celebrated in this way was my best Christmases ever in life.
yeah,
um
that sounds like fun. Yeah,
yeah, we
and
have the power to do whatever we want to. We don't need to do anything, or we can do it our way.
mhm. And I'm not sure if you want to share that here, but for your next Christmas, you will be in a different country and a different
Oh
culture.
my gosh, getting chills is just saying that. It's so crazy because now this is my 5th month in Mexico, and my visa is running out literally just before Christmas. And yeah, cheap flights on Christmas for sure, but just before, hellishly expensive. So I'm leaving, oh my god, the 8th of December. I'm taking my wings and I'm going to your country. I'm going to Australia. Oh my gosh, and I'm
Brilliant.
so nervous. Because I don't know why. Because I've been traveling in Asia, I've been traveling in Brazil. Like, I have been in so many places, and still, there's something about Australia. I don't know if there's this big little piece of land there that does something for me. And I'm actually also, I'm not going to go to you. Like, that would have been something. But I'm going to Melbourne, and I don't know
It's right
anyone.
away. fine. I can come and visit. You can come and visit. No problem.
Yes, we're making
That's
that happen.
just a domestic flight. No problem.
I love it.
Yeah.
But really, like, it's a thing. It's a thing, like you're saying, because it would be so easy for me to just, like, if I had a few more weeks here to just stay, have the holidays. I had definitely thoughts about going back to Thailand to my Pi family. Spending Christmas and New Year's there would also be like magnificent, but that's also not happening. So I'm literally, yeah, flying into something completely unknown, uncharted territory, and during the holidays, just to give it an edge.
Amazing. Yeah. And, speaking about energetic upgrades, I think that's obviously a part of it. You cannot step into the old, into the familiar. You're about to step into something new. And talking about Christmas, that's a barbecue, like here, that's more like a beach party or like a barbecue with friends. You eat prawns for Christmas.
Wow. Yeah,
This is very different to what we're used to in Germany or in Sweden.
for sure.
Um,
For sure.
yeah.
Now I had 2 Christmases and 2 different alternative New Years, like being in Asia.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm sure this will be their whole complete own version of the Australian one. What's like worries me a little bit, and it's like it's being a traveler, but it's like, getting to a place and you don't know anyone. And then like being holidays and stuff is like when a lot of people feel the most alone in the world, even if they know people or not. That can happen. Like I've experienced from my childhood being like surrounded by relatives and still feeling like the most alone person in the world. So I mean, in a way, I've been through it all. I don't have nothing to fear, but no, it's there.
It will be a great adventure. Australia is lovely. People are friendly and open, and everything will work out. You will meet the right people, and yeah, I'm just excited for you.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun to see what happens, because literally I have no clue. I have no clue what to expect. I know I've also felt this huge resistance to this, but I know it's divinely orchestrated for sure. Like also when I applied to the visa for Australia was 2 weeks before I turned 31, or that's when I received the information and I decided to be like, there was something in my, whispers being like, there is no coincidence that you're receiving this information just before you run out of time to even like apply for this visa. I took it as a sign and I applied. For some reasons, my papers got on somebody's intern's shelf or in some dusty corner where they couldn't find it. Because if they would, and they would have approved it, like a normal process would be like for Swedish people, it's like 24 hours. It took 10 months for my visa to be looked into to even start with. And I was calling them and they were like, yeah, no, it's fine. And I was like, wait, what day did you say that you sent it? And I said, like, please hold. Yes, it's been a little longer time than usual. We're gonna look into it. And if that wouldn't have happened, I wouldn't have been able to go to Brazil for weddings. There's a lot of things. I wouldn't be able to go to Mexico to spend this like half year here. There's a lot of things that I needed to do before it was time for Australia. And literally now, of course, in this very moment that we are talking about, with all these things happening, they're kicking me off into the unknown, into Australia in perfect divine timing. Like they're almost laughing up. I hear them laughing right now because they're like, yeah, it's so obvious. And I could not like choose differently. I could not, my ego tried to be like, oh, figure out a way to stay or whatever. Like, but no, it's not possible. It's literally not possible. I had my hands tied in this thing and now the flights are booked. So I'm going.
Yeah. And when we had our session, I remember that that was also one of your questions, and the answer was yes, go.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. My guide said that like she knows that she needs to go to Australia because it's a dot in her like timeline And
Mm.
when they show me like this, because this also happens sometimes when I do tarot readings for some people, like I can see their timeline, and we have some side missions that is kind of like optional, and then we have a few dots that's like, no matter what we do, we cannot not do them. Like we need to pass through that dot somewhere along the line. Sometimes we can adjust the time a little bit, but if you're following divine timing, it's going to happen exactly when it's meant to, of course. And this was one of those things that they confirmed for me, because
Yeah.
even like I had this, of course, like we always do, like we have this underlying feeling like, okay, I probably know the answer, but if I
Yeah.
want to know more, or like you say, you're asking the same questions over and over again, like it's such a human thing. But they were just like, no, she knows, like she
Mm.
knows she's gonna go to Australia. And I have no idea if there's for like one tiny little detail, if there's some codes on
Mm.
there that I need to pick up, if there's something special I'm gonna do or receive. I don't know. And this is, a part of why it's also quite curious to live on this mission, in this life.
I think it
But
will be definitely like the energy from this place. And I just had a thought, if someone is listening from Melbourne or from other parts of Australia and you want to get in touch with Annie, please just leave a comment and um, let the magic happen, you know?
yes, I would love
Mm.
that, and love to connect with new people. So
Mm.
please give me a little shout if you want to take a fika or something. Fika is a special Swedish thing. Have I told you about it?
I know what it is. And actually, just 10 minutes from my home, there is a Swedish cafe called Fika.
See, oh my god, this makes me emotional. But it's like this most beautiful thing we have in Sweden, honestly. It's a part of our culture. We have a lot to say about Swedish culture, but this is a good one. And it's literally like having a coffee with something sweet and have like a restful moment with your friends. And
Mm.
it's literally like, no, you gotta have that. So if anybody wants to meet up for a fika in Australia, preferably in Melbourne, when I'm there, I'm gonna start there, then hit me up.
Yeah. First Melbourne, there are so many amazing places, but I wouldn't be surprised if you get to travel around in Australia. Um, and you will
Ooh.
definitely come and visit me.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. That's for certain. Yes,
Yes, yes.
that's there. Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. I wanted to ask you something else before we change topic. Is there anything else you wanted to say about the energy you're currently moving through?
Well, I did have a little encounter with some extraterrestrials. If we want to get into that,
Perfect. We're right on topic. I just wanted to move into angel work or even star beings. So
amazing. Hmm.
please
Yeah.
share.
So I think it
Mhm.
was, yes, it was. See, everything really started, I think, feeling mostly in the sphere around Atlas 3I. I think that's where a lot of people started getting things happening, scans or frequency shift. We had a lot of solar flares starting already going crazy. And
Mhm.
that was felt. That was felt. I know the same day as they were passing here, like the electricity went out behind me. Not in the whole there was that too. There was that too. We had some electricity power outages. That's true. But this specific time, the electricity, like I had a lamp behind me and it just went out at the same time. We're having this strange feeling, and then I felt like this like wobbling kind of scan. Like you asked me later when I told you, like, was it a scan or was it an upgrade? I was like, it could have been both. But the more I think about it and knowing what I know now about what happened later, I think it's actually more credible maybe that it was a scam. Fast forwarding a couple of days, I had this super, I think, honestly, I think it was exactly a week ago, and I had this really crazy headache setting in, and it felt weird. Like I'm not a person who has a lot of headaches. I've had a few migraines like in my life, and of course they're awful too. But you kind of know when you have that experience, you know what I feel like. And in this way, I was like, it feels like a migraine kind of symptoms, but it feels weird. was a weird headache, and it's just increasingly getting more and more and more and more. And eventually I couldn't handle it. Like I went into the bedroom, and that's when we got a power outage, the like full on power outage in the whole area. And it lasted for like, I don't know, 1.5 hours. I was still trying to like do things, but like very limited. And then I was like, no, I can't. Like I need complete darkness. I turned off everything. I just like lay down to sleep, but I couldn't sleep. And I couldn't barely move. I was just still in the same spot in the bed, unable to sleep, eyes wide shut, really crazy headache. But it's still that underlying feeling of like there's something off. Like almost like when we're eating something and it feels like a little bit metallic or a little bit chemical or something, like, but this was like in a headache kind of way. And I was just there. And then my partner comes home and he's like, oh, Annie, we don't have any electricity. I'm like, we're talking about it's on. He's like, no, it's out. It's out again in the whole neighborhood again. And it stayed like that. And then we fell asleep. Nothing much more to do. I couldn't do anything. I was like in the same state. And we wake up by this crazy sound where we have a very special door. Like we have the front door is like metal and glass structures. And it really makes a certain sound when it opens up. So like we're waking up by the sound that somebody's like opening our front door to the point where it's not like, oh my god, what is that? It's like he runs up, runs out to check on like who's coming into the house, walks back and be like, no, I couldn't see anything, there's nothing, everything is normal. And I was like, yeah, like because you can't see it. And I just said that like that. It sounds almost like a passive aggressive. It's like it was not like that, but I was just like that, straight on. And I shut my eyes again, and I see a being outside the bedroom, like literally outside that door. It was like open, and it's one of the greys. And I've seen the greys. I had encounter with the greys before, many years ago, but the short ones. This was a taller one, different one, still greys. And I immediately asked, like, why are you here? And he said, oh, we're here to run some tests. And I was thinking, like, here I've been with this freakishly crazy headache, right? Blackouts in the whole area times 2. And this, obviously, something came in. And I think I have some interference here now. Let me know if you can hear me. So I asked them, okay, you're here to run some tests. Do we really need to remember this? And they said no. And then it's like gone. And then we come back. And this is like and this is the thing for people who have not heard anything about extraterrestrial meetings or this kind of check-ins and so on. Like they erase your memory from these encounters, like for good reason, I'd say. And since I know that, and I know we can access these memories, and I know I was not alone in this as well, I was like, that's why I was like, I was so chill in a way. And I was like, okay, I'm here to run tests, but do we really need to remember it? Because I don't want to, and I don't think he wants to. Like, I think we're gonna be better off. So with that, we like came back into reality, and I'm still aware. Like I know I don't remember anything because obviously we went up to the ship and they run tests. Easy peasy, not more to say about it. And we don't remember that part, which was what I wanted. But I was back in bed, right? And I asked my partner, like, okay, I don't know what time it is. I don't know how much time has passed. I think in human perception, maybe there's past like 5 or 10 minutes or something, but that's just a feeling. And whatever path actually has passed is unknown, and probably way more and way less. So but that happened, and it's very interesting. I find because also my partner went up later during, that was also the same day as the super full moon. So he went out in the night later, looking at the moon, typing with other people that was also looking at the moon at the same time in the same city, and they see this thing close to the moon moving, and he's like, that's a ship, and I'm like, no, no, it's an airplane, or no, it's like this, or this. Then we're like, okay, it's not. Like they tried, but like, okay, it's not. And even like people who are like older, and someone else asked me, no, they asked him, and they were like, oh, your partner is like with headache, what time was this, and like what was the symptoms. Turns out his wife at the same time was in the same state as me, completely weird headache, no light, nothing. It's not a usual migraine, just completely like can't do nothing kind of state, all black out in bed. This like is we're talking the same town, the same kind of part where we don't have electricity, these weird headaches, and somewhere, yeah, it's just too many things. It's too many things, and for people who are not even involved, you normally like.
Yeah. And when you say that they took you up on the ship and then they were running some tests, did they take your physical body or just your astral body? Do you have any knowing about that?
I think they took the whole body, like the whole
Mhm.
physical body. Like that's, and I think that's what
Mhm.
uh usual is, because of the fact that I had the headache and they needed to check my brain. So
Mhm.
I think when they do run the test, because we do have these human bodies, and sometimes we are getting implants. Not all implants are bad implants, worth
Mhm.
saying,
Yeah.
and some works to our favors for our missions. All these things. Like I know the Greys generally have a very bad reputation. I can't argue with them or about that, about the reputation.
Mhm.
Also, not really possible to argue with them because they don't really give a damn about anything. At least that's, I mean, they don't have a great attitude, to be honest. I've met other extraterrestrials that are way nicer and polite and happy, and
Mhm.
I think we talked about that before too. Like there's so many people, spirits, guys, they all want the best for us.
Mhm.
The Greys are mainly on a mission, and they're just doing that. Like I've seen before, like they behave a lot like busy hospitals. Like
Mhm.
they are, when you're injured, you're in a hospital and you don't know what's going on, and you're being shifted from people to people, and you're like, what's going on?
Mhm.
And they are just like, they don't have time to be empathetic with you, or empathic, and explain everything to you. Like they're just like doing their job. This is very similar to the Grace,
Mhm.
uh,
I've
according to my experience, but
yeah.
maybe you have something to add.
I have questions.
Yeah.
So obviously we all heard that the Greys, they got rid of their emotions and that was their downfall. And now they're actually us from the future and coming back, and they we're going with their evolution into a dead end. So they want to correct that. Therefore they create hybrids with us. Have you heard of that? Or is that new?
Well, I've heard conspiracy theories about hybrids and stuff like that, but I had never heard that they didn't have emotions.
Oh, okay. Because that is my that's my question. Do you feel like there was a lack of emotion altogether, or they were just too busy? What was your feeling
No,
when
I
you?
mean it fits the bill, I'd say. Like that makes perfect sense. Like I didn't know that, so this was the best way I could explain it to. But like I feel like they just
Mhm.
don't care. And I think
Mhm.
maybe being from an empathic person to be like, hey, this person, this other creature doesn't care. It's like, okay, well, if they don't have emotions, then like that makes kind of sense actually. That's very valid. But I have
Um,
never heard it. I don't know why I haven't heard that before. But I
I think
always welcome new information.
that Bashar is talking about that in detail, and
This
yeah.
is the part what I like as well, because I don't know if I told you before,
Mhm.
but for the majority of the time that I've been open to speak to other spirits and other side, my guides always told me that I wasn't supposed to search for information, like external information. I also I wouldn't go any courses or anything for a very very long period of time, especially not reading books, looking at documentaries and stuff like this. So for me, I just love when I have information that I somehow get
Mhm.
confirmed from other sources, uh,
Yeah.
because my information usually comes firsthand from
Mhm.
experience or what I have received. So
And I think it's amazing that you stay so pure, and I know that other channelists do the same. They just stay pure. They don't consume anything in that field. And there were a few things where you told me about what you've done on spaceships and your experiences, and I was like, whoa, I've heard this in this interview here, you know. Um,
yes,
if you remember a couple of months back, and it's just amazing. You have no idea what I know from other sources, and then you tell me your personal experience, and it's just matching like 100%. Yeah.
it's so cool. And honestly, the episodes that you told me about that I should watch, I haven't watched them yet, so I need to do that. I need to. And this is,
Yeah.
I don't know why, right? Because I'm like, wow, I really want to know, but then it doesn't happen. So I just love, like, I have my experience and I share it, and the information comes back. Like, I think that's the normal kind of function that
Yeah.
I'm experiencing. But I still need to check that out. I think it's a story for another time, that because I would love to share it. I think a lot of people would find it interesting how I was actually astral traveling. I was channeling. I was getting a mayday message from a spaceship that turned out to be in Milky Way, and I was like, wow, this is in our galaxy. Like, usually I'm like, don't call me unless it's an emergency. Like, I don't want to go out.
Mm.
So when I realized we're in Milky Way, I had to astral travel up. That was just with the energetic body, not the physical body. And I saw exactly what was going on up on that ship and how that battle
Mm.
kind of looked
Let's
like.
get into
So
that another day.
definitely, yeah, for another day, that
Well, I
story.
know we're coming already slowly to the end of our time for today, but I have one more question. So about the grays, are you aware that there are two different kinds of grays, small and tall ones, or is that also new? That okay, you're
Yeah,
aware?
no, because I met the short ones a few years back in
Yeah.
Sweden, and
Mhm.
now there was. I think this was actually the first time that I saw a tall one.
Mm.
So I
Yeah.
usually have more encounters with the short ones.
Yeah. So my question is, how do they feel different to you?
To be honest, they feel very similar. Like they could be
Mhm.
cousins. They have the same, like, not much of empathy. They
Mhm.
have the same. They have really the same kind of vibe. It just feels like, you know, Australia, for example, that's ones would be from the south and one would be from the north, kind of feeling. Like they are different, but they are the same.
Mhm. And when you and can you describe their features? How do they look like? Because most people know what they saw on TV and Hollywood and stuff like that. Um, what can you recall? How do they look like?
I would say that actually many interpretations that we see in movies and stuff, they are actually quite accurate.
Mhm.
The small ones that I saw, like, I mean, they didn't have gigantic heads. I feel like some also, like, many maybe cartoons, like the heads are over exaggerated and they're super tiny bodies. I would say that their heads are more proportional to their bodies, at least on the small ones. And the small ones, I mean, like, maybe they are like 120 centimeters high ish.
Mhm.
And the taller ones, I must say, their head was bigger. Their head was bigger in proportion to their bodies than the small ones. But at the same time, that also kind of makes sense. I don't know. For me, it makes sense. Um,
Makes sense.
um, don't know, but yeah, and they have the the normal black eyes that they do. They're like a bit like out rounded, but like, yeah.
Yeah.
um like, I think the small ones could, like, if they would just have a better mood, they would almost be considered cute, but they are like in such a bitchy mood, so you can't really feel like they're cute. You're like, what are you doing? Like, honestly, the first encounter I had with that, I was so angry because they came to my apartment also in the middle of the night, and I told them to leave and they didn't listen. And for me, as what I've been taught, like, that's one of the universal laws, So if they are overriding what I'm saying, that is actually not their fault. Like that the conversation I need to take with my higher self, because that means that I somehow has given them, green light on this encounter, and I'm overridden by my higher self. And this is a very important thing to talk about, I think, in another episode. I've been talking about this with other light workers too, that has been experiencing being overridden their will by their higher self. And I think that a lot of people who are on missions, they don't have the same, we have free will, but we don't have the same range of free will as other people who doesn't have a similar mission. So it depends a little bit.
Yeah, and when it comes to the grace, what I've heard is, since it is us in the future, that it's actually my future self from a different timeline visiting myself. So it's not a
Then I was
different
really
being.
pissing off myself. Because I saw the others outside the window. There were a lot of them, but only one inside. So the first time.
Super interesting topic. Of course, at the end, we're getting into the juicy stuff.
Yes, always.
But I think we should slowly come to an end. We reached the 1 hour mark.
Yes.
And yeah. So for everybody listening, please leave some comments what you felt in the last days and weeks. Which symptoms did you experience? Other changes you observed, maybe even in animals around you or your partners. Just anything. It's good to talk about these things, because when you are experiencing it and you don't talk, then you think something is wrong with you and you really question yourself. And the moment we open conversation about it and we understand it is a global, collective change, we can relax a bit more. We can understand we're moving through something. We don't need to overthink anything. We can just surrender and understand this is for our highest timeline, our highest good.
Yes. Really. Just be humble and kind and show love to yourself, literally. We are in this crazy ride together. Like, whether your neighbor knows about it or not, it's a fact. So be kind to yourself, but also be compassionate with everybody around you, because we are feeling it on all the levels, whether people are aware or not. So just a bit of extra compassion there. And we will be back next week as usual. And as like, if you have stayed with us this far, please tell us what you like or maybe disagree about or want to know more about. I know we had a few cliffhangers here as well, but really what I want to know is like, what is happening out there for you guys. Truly, I would love to get more information to kind of wrap our heads around more about all these symptoms, about all these things, because what we learn now from ourselves, from each other, by having conversations like this is definitely going to help us the next time we are experiencing something similar. So we are just gathering more and more information and helping each other, keep it together.
Yeah. Okay. Then thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and see you next week.
Yes. See you next week. Bye, everyone. Much love.